Hey my dudes, I am Laddie and welcome to another video. And in this video, it is Valentine's Day, but I'm probably gonna post this tomorrow because I'm too lazy and it's really late. So because it's LGBT History Month, I wanted to make a few videos on LGBT topics. I know I'm meant to be spreading out and going into the physics videos, but for this one I wanted to, because we were speaking about this the other day, like me and my friends at uni, we were speaking about the issues that we kind of have to deal with. With your guys' help of the questions and stereotypes and myths of the LGBT community, I'm going to debunk or I guess confirm certain stereotypes. I'm starting it off with a good one because I'm making literally a whole video soon about this. This one is the dumb twink stereotype. When people see someone who they think is like a you know, in the twink tribe of gay people, someone who's camp, someone like me, when they see that, I know that a lot of people often think that they are dumb. They're sort of a bit slower than everyone else. They're kind of distracted by the gay. They kind of devalue your intelligence based on you being camp or seen as a twink or that you are a twink. So I get really annoyed by this because I get this a lot. I do a physics degree, so I'm in academia, I'm doing physics with space science, and at the moment, I'm averaging on a first, I'm averaging, you know, above 70% so far. I'm doing well, but I know a lot of people that actually kind of treat me with a bit of, it really annoys me. They kind of treat me like I'm a bit of an idiot because I'm camp, gay, and I like fashion and I like arts and things like this. Like I'm that sort of, you can definitely tell that I'm LGBT when you kind of look at me and speak to me. And even though it may be subtle, and sometimes it's not so subtle, some people blatantly feel like in their work they are being discriminated against because they are LGBT. I'll bring up the statistics in a future video, but it's a whole thing. Sometimes I can be dumb in certain ways, but it takes a lot of confidence in myself right now to say, yeah, I am intelligent, I'm getting through this degree, I'm a hard worker, I'm doing a physics degree and I'm doing well so far, and I'm not dumb just because I'm camp and just because I like, you know, I look a certain way, I'm a certain person, I like a certain people as in my sexuality. And yeah, sorry, I went on for, that's something that's really annoys me. I personally really get annoyed by that, and that affects me the most out of all the things. Just want to say, stereotype number one, just because you're like a gay, bisexual, or some type of camp or flamboyant man does not mean that they are dumb. They can do all sorts of things. I get judged, especially in physics, a lot, because usually they think you can either be sort of this very mundane, non-camp person and be intelligent, or you are the sort of flamboyant gay version, you only like artsy things and you're a bit dumb. So yeah, that's debunked. It's false, because I am not to my own horn, but I am a example that is false, because I'm doing well in a physics degree and that's not exactly something dumb people do. So another one is younger LGBT plus kids all do it for attention. So I can understand why people, because there's been so many more people coming out as LGBT, and a lot of people get told, oh, you're doing it for attention, you're doing it for this and that. And I can understand how it's annoying if there is a case in which someone actually has used it for attention, like the issue is that I can't come up with any, you guys might be able to, I'm sure, but I can't come up with any ideas in my life in which I've known someone to just use it for attention. When I was younger, and I came out as a bisexual woman at the time, people kept telling me, all right, you don't have to keep mentioning your sexuality, we get it. And they'd be like, oh, you're just doing it for attention, you're bisexual for attention, you just want to be like edgy, you know, whatever. And it is not true. And especially when I came out as trans, they'd be like, oh, you need to stop mentioning it so much, you're just doing it for attention. The reason why I mentioned it so much, same with my sexuality, I mentioned it the same amount as for example, me speaking about women at the time back then, it would be the same amount as men speaking about women. And then me speaking about being transgender was because it was a big part of my life, not because I wanted to do it for the attention. So myth debunked and stereotype debunked. If someone is figuring themselves out, whatever, and they like to speak about their sexuality openly, It might not just be for attention, it might just be because they like to speak about that. Otherwise, anyone who ever speaks in public is doing it for attention, because that's how speaking in public to other people works. You want them to be attentive to you when you have a conversation. Sorry, I'm becoming really sassy and really, like, hand movement in this video. Why am I called a freak? There's the stereotype that, like, we're a freak or we're, like, mentally ill. And first, that is also stigmatizing mental illness on top of being transgender. So it's like a double whammy of prejudice. We love that. But no, it's different. Yes, okay, some mental illnesses can come along with the life and the sort of different types of torment and issues that being transgender can you know, conjure up certain mental illnesses, but it's separately to actually being trans in the first place. So yes, you can be trans and have mental illness, much like you can be anything else and have mental illness, but being trans isn't a mental illness, and there's a whole bunch of studies that are done into these kind of things. There is a gender part of your brain, and that has a lot to do with the way that the neurological pathways, I can't even go into it. Men and women's brains are different. You can have neurological pathways of a man, a woman, in between, and that's how, it's a whole fuzzy area. I'll try and link some stuff down below. And therefore people, because of the stigmatization of mental illness, on top of people thinking that being trans is a mental illness, and people thinking that mentally ill people are freaks, then they think trans people are freaks. So it's an issue. We need to deal with prejudice on both those things. I think you become more aware, but not everyone is as sensitive as other people. I think that's one of the big stereotypes, that everyone in the community are these sensitive snowflakes, or if you speak up about being annoyed about the way you're treated, you're seen as a snowflake or a sensitive butterfly or someone who's just triggered at everything. If you just speak up and say, actually, I don't like the way I'm being treated, if you put up with it and, you know, put up with all the shit day in and day out, you're seen as one of the sensible ones, one of the ones I can put up with. I get that a lot because I'm pretty good with taking a lot of stuff people say and making it into a joke and being very lenient with people, and so I often get called like one of the good ones, one of the easy ones to deal with. And I understand there are some annoying ones that, like, you know, there are some people who take it too far, but they are such a small group in the trans community, but they're a very vocal group, and that's what people listen to often, about the ones that they see as being very unreasonable. As a girl, my family asked if I had a boyfriend, and now they ask if I have a girlfriend, even though I've only had boyfriends before. So this sort of stereotype of heteronormativity, oh my god, I hate that I just said that, but like this sort of heteronormativity thing, it's just the way society goes. Most people are straight, so when they see you as kind of being a man in their eyes, or being more man-like in their eyes, they probably assume, oh, you're gonna get with more women, you're gonna get with more men. Back then, I remember coming out as a bisexual woman, and my mum was like, oh, can you date men though? It'd probably be better if you date men, or are you gonna date men? You know, you can, or are you gonna marry a man? Because, you know, it might be better for you in that kind of role. And now she tells me, she goes, you know what, it might be better if you date women, much less hassle, much less this. I'm like, make up your mind, mum. All lesbians are man haters. If you don't want to have sex with something, you don't have to hate that same thing. The reason why lesbians like women isn't because they hate men, it's just because they happen to like women and they can get along with the rest of society like anyone else can. Lesbians aren't just feminists that took it too far. You do realise that. So another stereotype debunked. All gay men are femme. No, I mostly get with a lot of guys that aren't femme. That is very not true. I know I'm kind of not helping with that stereotype. And all non-binary people are AFAB. No, I have a few mates. My American friend who's non-binary. I have a bunch of friends who were AMAB. Here as well that are non-binary, but a lot of people often think that it's just AFAB, people trying to be like edgy, which is bullshit. That being gay is crucial to their story, like a part that can't be seen as separate. So I've spoken about this in videos before. As soon as people find out I'm Well, they always know that I'm some kind of queer. I mean, look at me, look at my voice, like, hear my voice, like, you know, they assume that I'm some kind of queer anyway, so I can't really escape that one. But same with being trans. As soon as people find out I'm trans, they speak to me, like, they kind of act differently around me. Not my friends. My friends are really good with it, whereas suddenly the jokes and the little comments and the little annoying things and questions about stuff that people shouldn't be questioning about because they don't know me start as soon as I mention, or it happens to come out, that I am trans and pansexual or bisexual, whatever. Suddenly, that's everything about my personality. So the other day, someone in this class I was doing, they were going around saying the different, you know, on our table, they were going around saying the different nationalities. They were saying, I think it was, you're Persian, you're German, you're gay, and I'm British. And I was like, where's Gayland? I've never heard of Gayland before. Wherever it is, I want to go there. And first off, I'm not gay. And that comes on to our second point. So about how a lot of bisexual people are told to pick a side. I've had to put up with this before, or that bisexuality kind of doesn't exist. People are like, you're either straight, or if you're a bit gay, like as in on the bisexual, pansexual sort of scale, then you're just about gay. I mean, you know, because I'll often say, they'll say that to me, they'll be like, when they said, oh, you're gay, and I was like, no, actually I'm bisexual. It's like, yeah, but it's the same thing, isn't it? I'm like, no, there's a very big difference, almost a 50% difference, or however you put it, that I am not gay because I'm bisexual. And people are often just like, well, you know, you're basically gay. No. And they're like, yeah, but you prefer a side, don't you? I'm like, maybe I have some preferences sometimes, but the point is that I am not gay. By definition, I'm a woman. A lot of people, the same person who I was speaking about, often says they care so much about definitions, but then when it comes to the definition of gay and bisexual, they don't care. So they'll care, oh, well, by definition, you're a woman because your sex is female. But the thing about the dictionary is, first off, it's not a Bible. Second off, you shouldn't really follow any book like it's law, other than a law book, because those things were written back in the days when it was illegal to be whatever I am right now. So you shouldn't listen to it. And society has changed, and therefore definitions change in society, not in some random book like the Oxford Dictionary. And as I was saying before, being gay and trans, it is not everything about my life. There's more to my life. I have more hobbies and things I do that isn't just about who I like to date or who I like to be with and who I identify, like what I identify as. There's so much more to my life. Yes, dear? Making a video.
Oh, hiya, sorry.
Do you want us to come say hello to the video?
No, but I bought you some wedges. I don't know if you wanted them.
Yeah? I'm about to order some Domino's. Is it because I'm alone? I realised that the only single people in this house are me and Brooke's hamster. And Brooke last night said, you don't know what Chance has been up to. I was like, Brooke, you're not helping. No, I just thought it was sad that me and an actual pet are the only, like, single...
Yeah, but in the house, like, you are kind of the pet.
I am the pet, that is true.
Oh,
they're like really stale. They've been out for a while, haven't they?
They're just cold, not stale.
Sorry, cold words. Thank you. This other one says, I've been told I can't be gay if I'm trans. For me, my sexuality never really changed. It just, my preferences changed. I lean, I think, more to homosexual sort of behaviour, so people can realise things about themselves as they go through. Yes, sexuality and gender, completely separate. Just completely separate them and stop being an idiot, anyone who actually thinks that you can't be gay and trans, because your sexuality and gender have no correlation. So let's continue on. Being open and willing to teach people about trans/gay stuff. Yeah, see, I'm a very open person, and so people ask me questions, I will often respond. I'm not too, there's not much that I won't really divulge in. I might be a bit awkward about it if someone asks me about my like body, because that's weird. And sometimes I will just say, you know what, I'm not going to answer you because you asked me so rudely. But I'm pretty open. The issue is they expect every single other person to be that open about their life and body. Like, they'll ask you questions when they don't even know you about your genitals, and it is really weird, and things like that, and your medical history and your life. And I'm like, we're not on a fucking like we're not getting married right now. Like, I know you from a class. Like, why are you asking me these weird questions? And they expect everyone to be open about it, and they get annoyed sometimes when you don't answer their questions about their old name or what surgeries they've had and things like this, and it really annoys me. I'm getting kind of tired at the end of this video. I'm sorry if I'm kind of trailing off and rambling, as I always do. The female and male part of her homosexual relationship, it fucks me up. So people will say like, oh, so who's the woman in the relationship, or who's the female in the relationship in between two guys? And it'll be like, the point is that there isn't one. There isn't a woman in a gay male relationship, because it's two men. Like, they'll say to lesbians, they'll be like, who's the man in the relationship then? Who wears the trousers in the relationship? And just be like, well, they might both wear trousers because, you know. And the point is that there's not a man in the relationship. So, how gay people are predatory and super sexual. In my experience, from me, you know, being in the straight side of my life, in my bisexual life, to the gay part of it, a difference in my experience, yes, gay has been a bit more like sexualized, like Grindr and things like this, but studies suggest, and to be fair, it does sound about the same between when I speak to my lad mates, straight sort of laddish mates, it's the same kind of amount. They did interviews and statistics between gay men and straight men, how much they have sex, this kind of stuff, and it came out pretty even. So so there isn't statistically actually any difference between it. So stereotype debunked. The gaydar, I mean, it does exist a bit, but I've been surprised. I'll tell you that. I've been surprised. So I don't know about the gaydar. Some people, I mean, I'm very easy to tell that I'm queer. The gaydar on people probably goes off a lot for me, but I mean, it's not like a real thing. It's just you watching someone and thinking, do they follow enough stereotypes of queer people that I could possibly be able to, you know, slide into their DMs? That we wouldn't take anything seriously unless it's also about LGBT stuff. People often think this because I don't know why it's stupid, but I take physics very seriously, more seriously than anything else in my life. And myth busted. That every trans guy was a lesbian and is now a straight man. We know that's false. Even though I was a lesbian at one point, I'm not a straight man now. If I paint my nails, then I'm changing my mind because it's a feminine thing to do. My parents used to hold the hope that whenever I did a slightly feminine thing, like paint my nails, start doing makeup, this kind of thing, that they'd be like, oh, maybe because you're so feminine, you actually are trying to go back and you can be Tia again. But no, that's not how it works. I love lots of feminine things. I'd love to do drag. I like makeup. I like art. I like, you know, feminine clothing, like pretty feminine clothing. My wardrobe wouldn't even have to change like from before. So that is debunked again. So I debunked most of them. And yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. This has been a really long one, but I hope it's been a good feast for your ears and your eyes. Sorry it's so long though, and thank you for staying to the end. If you are, please click that notification bell down below so you can see more videos. I'm going to do more cool stuff, and soon I'm going to make a whole list of LGBT people in academia and in other things, like other cool different people who are LGBT in history who have changed the world for the better. Let me know anyone who's in history who you're inspired by in the LGBT community, and put that in the comments down below if you're still here on this video. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. This has been awesome, and I'm gonna go order myself some Domino's because I am a fat hoe. Happy Valentine's Day for yesterday. I hope you enjoyed. It's just a day for sponging people's money that are in a relationship and making the rest of us feel sad. So, bah humbug for Valentine's Day. Bye.